The Revital product range from Revital Fertilisers can be completely customised to suit the unique growing conditions on individual farms. Our representatives can arrange a soil test on your farm to identify what is required in your fertiliser mix to obtain the maximum benefit for your pasture or crop. Sustainable pasture is the key to profitable farming. Revital fertilisers contain a diverse microbial population which continue to grow and improve soil fertility and productivity.
Well, welcome back, and now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the operation. What's happening here on this particular machine there, Sharon?
This is the machine that we do a lot of our signage on, but at the moment I've got a file over here that is printing one of my brand new images. I went for a cruise on the bike the other week up round the back of Ratahi and found some nice sheds. And this one was quite a cracker, really liked it. So it's a new print that will be up on the fence before the end of this week. So it prints off onto a special vinyl that is made for being outdoors, and then once it's finished printing, we let the print hang for 2 days, so it cures all the ink, fumes them out, and then we put a protective coating over the top. So if you ever have to clean the images, because obviously outside you get road dust and stuff from the fireplace, you're never actually touching that ink layer. You've got that protective layer, and that's all you're cleaning. And of course it just makes them last for so long. I get people come back and say, wow, it looks as good as the day I brought it. And that's what it should do.
Excellent.
So,
And before we go on, what sort of bike are you riding?
Oh, well, we actually brought a K&M Spider, 3 wheels. With my husband being in a wheelchair, he falls off 2 wheelers.
All right.
So he's my chauffeur. And I sit on the back and just sort of like back and forward, looking at the scenery as we're cruising by, and then it's like stop and jump off. I get the photos I want and then jump back on the bike and go cruising along. It's a nice way to be out in the countryside.
And sharing bikes, because you don't think of somebody wheelchair bound riding out, having the freedom of riding, do you? So he makes a really good chauffeur, and we have our headsets that are connected with a speaker, so I can nag him. Well, that's what our customers call it, nag him. And I'm just telling him where I want to go, which road to go up, or when I want to stop. And do you ever get the feeling, I often ask at times when I talk to collectors, that there's something special just around the corner before you even see it?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can't go as slow as you want to on the open road, and I don't get enough chance to look one side then the other. But hey, you know, you just go up and down the road and look, and you'll always find those little gems hidden somewhere, won't you?
Right, yes, we hope so. Now, the type of inks and things that you're using, how friendly are the inks?
They're an eco-solvent ink. There's all sorts of different inks that you can buy. A lot of them are still being developed. We use the inks that are made to go with the machines. We don't cut corners, you know. If the people have done all that development and research to put the inks with the machines to make them work best, then that's what we do. We don't like using aftermarket inks or cheap inks. You know, they're expensive machines, and we want to put the right stuff through it.
Now, where are you sourcing your machines from? Because I see Roland as a name, you know, a lot of the gear. Is that, what part of the world do they come from?
Well, most of them are all from Europe, but of course there's the New Zealand suppliers, so we are just buying direct off the New Zealand suppliers. This was our first printer that we got. We've had that now for the whole time we've been in business, and we upgraded several years back to the big one at the back, purely for the fact that if we had to do a standard board, which is 2 meters 400 by 1200, if we use this printer, we'd have to put a join in it. And we're kind of a bit of perfectionists, and I hated that join. So we did upgrade to the big one, but we didn't feel it was necessary to get rid of the small printer. You know, if anything goes wrong, we can be operating the small printer. We can be running 2 jobs at once. You know, it's just not worth it. You know, it's still a good piece of kit. So
I'm just loving how that picture is actually just appearing. You know, it's from your little thing. I know it's the technology's all there, but it's still Must be quite a buzz watching things that, you know, especially when your photos come out.
Yeah, and especially if it's a new one and you just want to know how it prints, if the colours print nicely and it's exactly how you visualised it. Yeah, and usually, pretty good.
And is it looking so far how you visualised it to be printed out?
Yep.
Now, of course, you mentioned this is a scene from up round Ratahi way. What are some of the other things that you found while you're on that little trip?
Quite a few old sheds. I've been trying to find something with some nice cattle or sheep in front of the old sheds, but they don't always look when you want them to.
No.
So it's a little bit hard. I do have one sheep in the corner of that one, but yeah, they do tend to run when you pull up with a motorbike.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's part of that pain. Never work with children and animals, as they say.
And a lot of people like scenery or gardens. You know, they like the garden shots. So I do get out a bit and try and I do have to shoot to what people want sometimes, but I still shoot it if I like it, and if I think it's horrible, I don't take the photo.
Yeah, right, fair enough too, because that's part of that marketing is, you know, working out what a plant breeder has to work out what colour's going to be fashionable. Time, you know, just as you've got to sometimes work out what's going to be of appeal. And,
and sometimes you get a bit stubborn as females, and you know, when we had that nice new wave bridge in New Plymouth, we had the shot of the mountain through it, and I went, I'm going to be different, and I didn't take that. I went back last year and took that because that's what people wanted. They still liked my other shots, but they still asked about the one with the mountain through it. So you do have to obviously shoot to your customers' needs.
Right, yes.
But one of the shots I've got outside on the fence is just an old pair of work boots, and I get so many comments on it, yet people, when you're seen taking photo of work boots, they go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and yet, lots of comments, everybody loves it.
Yes, yes, and as they say, sometimes common things with it from a different angle is quite amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, our picture's just about out here, and it's looking very, very good, and as though we're almost there. We could jump into that photo. Yeah, no, it's nice, high quality. Yeah, just got the sky to go on it, and it'll be ready just to hang for a few days to cure. Yes. And when you're working on something like this, do you work on that thing of thirds, or do you have a formula?
Yeah, you're supposed to, eh? I just think if it looks good, I'm going to just take some shots. I'll try different angles just to make sure. And then it's trying to get that shot in the camera. I don't like to have to do a lot of Photoshop on my images because that's just, I spend a lot of time on the computer anyway, so I like to try and get the shots in camera. So you just do, a lot of it's about just trying to find that unusual angle that people won't have seen before. Yes,
that's looking particularly good. So while the printer's finished doing its work, I think we need to go and have a look at a little bit of that CNC work and the machine that performs the magic.
Yeah, okay.
This is your little corner of mounted pieces from the CNC machine. Now, CNC, what does it stand for?
Computer numerically controlled. So lots of numbers and numbers and numbers, and it knows how to interpret it to come out with the end product that you've coded into it. Right,
and how does that, you know, for me, being a bit ignorant, I've done computer-assisted drafting and that sort of thing. How different is that, or is that they sort of cross over, do they, a little bit?
I haven't done the drafting, so I'm not quite sure. Again, it's just we do the designs on the computer in a special program, and then we put it onto a pen drive and we take it over to the shed that the CNC's in. We put the pen drive in there and it takes all the code and turns it into to what we want it to do. So we can, you know, it's whatever we come up with the designs. There's all sorts of different tooling that does all the cutting or engraving and carving and stuff. So you get lots of different depths, you know, all sorts of different things. I used to cut fretwork out by hand with an electric jigsaw, so not every piece was exactly the same, and it was pretty back-breaking work. Now I just put a board on the CNC and every piece is identical, and I don't have to bend over it doing all the work.
And is there any limitation of materials that you can do that with?
We don't use stainless steel. It's special work for stainless steel, and they really kill the blades really quick, and you need special diamond sharpeners to do that, so we don't do stainless steel work, but we can do polystyrene ACM panel, which is what we make all our signage out of and our little artwork cutouts. signboard, plywood. We've cut out of all sorts of different types of product.
Yeah. Well, before we go and have a look at the real machine, I see you even have a few world famous musicians coming in here. Rick Copplestone and Janet Muggeridge sold out world tour.
Yeah.
Not even Adele could match that, could they?
Oh, I know, yeah. He's probably shorter than Adele. But one of our good customers, we have quite a good customer base here, and we like to get friendly with all our customers. You know, the friendlier you are with them, a bit more shit you can give to them, and that makes working life a hell of a lot more fun.
Yes, I know, yeah. Lovely, and lovely pair of musicians.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
The Revital product range from Revital Fertilisers can be completely customised to suit the unique growing conditions on individual farms. Our representatives can arrange a soil test on your farm to identify what is required in your fertiliser mix to obtain the maximum benefit for your pasture or crop. Sustainable pasture is the key to profitable farming. Revital fertilisers contain a diverse microbial population which continue to grow and improve soil fertility and productivity.